As I set to record this video, I'm struck by the confluence of three themes. The importance of New Jersey in our church hymnology. It's my home state. The theme of thankfulness and gratitude for all that our Heavenly Father does, did, and will continue to do in our lives. And the third is a bit of a personal touchstone because this is the 50th hymn that we've considered together in this hymnology video series. So hang on, we got a lot to cover, and as always, 5 minutes to get it all in. So let's get started. The hymn I've chosen to consider today is Count Your Blessings, words by Johnson Oatman Jr. and music by EOXL. You know, there's no real story or event that inspired this hymn, but Oatman's desire to remind us of God's goodness made it become one of his own top 3 favorite hymns, and he wrote a lot of them. To begin, Johnson Oatman lived his whole life in Lumberton, New Jersey, just outside of Medford. He grew up in a home where singing was a way of life, and though he really wasn't much of a singer, he always wanted to somehow be involved in preaching the word through music. Well, he ended up doing just that because he wrote over 5,000 hymns. Now, we seldom think of this one as a Thanksgiving hymn, but it encourages us to consider our gratitude for the blessings God has given us, both good and bad. You see, sometimes we miss the blessing of seeing God's blessings because we don't acknowledge them. We're in such a hurry to move on to the next thing, we don't even take the time to acknowledge what we've been given. Most often, we're so caught up in our own problems that we fail to see God's hand at work through anything. You know, most of us enjoy Thanksgiving because we get to cast off our burdens for a day or two and just be thankful for the good things that we have. But what about the problems that we have? Have you been thankful for them too? When upon life's billows, are you tempest-tossed? Does the cross seem heavy that you're called to bear? When you look at others with all of their lands and money, and don't be discouraged. God is over all. Now, that's a really quick summary of Oatman's analysis of the problems that we suffer and carry, but the bottom line keeps coming around to this. Count your many blessings. You'd be surprised to see what God has done and what he is doing, what he is going to do. Because this hymn reminds us that not only has God given us his presence and his provisions, but he gives us his promises. A home in heaven awaits us. At this point, you know, I always love to refer to Hebrews 12, that we're reminded that it was the joy set before him that motivated Jesus to endure the cross for us. So I wonder if that same joy that awaits us could be the motivation that makes us stop to count our blessings and carry on until that day when we see him face to face. You know, I know that a lot of us are going to take time this Thanksgiving to go around the table and name one thing for which we're thankful. And I doubt that many of us are going to thank him for the problems. But I hope that each of us will realize that what we have, fortunate or unfortunate, is a gift from God. It will come out for good for his purposes. And we can be thankful that our Heavenly Father loves us enough to keep pouring his blessings down on us. Look for the blessings even in the rainfall and give thanks. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for joining us for these past 50 considerations we've had. And Lord willing, we will continue to have. You can be part of that continuing ministry by sharing them with your friends. Tell your pastor, I bet he would love to hear some of these stories of these hymns, and he'll share them in his sermons. Share, repost, or just tell people about the videos. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you know them all. Search for Hymnology and make sure you subscribe. Thanks for your faithfulness. God be with you till we meet again.